We had this professor tell us a long time ago, in order to be successful in music, it requires the 3 T's. And I didn't really know what he was talking about at the time. We were just really young, like real eager to get into music. I've basically been doing music my whole life. I started DJing when I was about 14 years old. So by like 18 years old, like college years, I was already doing like college radio, getting into music studios and just like learning more about the craft. And this professor told us that, and it kind of like stuck in the back of my head, the 3 T's. So we're going to get into these 3 T's. I'm going to give you my perspective on it, my experience, break it down for you. See what you guys think. If you have any questions, comments, you want to leave them down below, go ahead and do that. But the first T, let's get into the first T. The first T is talent. Now, how would we define talent? God-given gifts. You got a knack for something. You're a little kid. Everybody has the stories, like, oh, I was 5 years old. I walked up to the piano and I kind of just heard something. And in my opinion, these things are real. Some people are born with a knack for something, and it could start at a really young age. Like I said, myself, I showed interest in music by age 8. And I'm telling my mom to come in the store with me to help me buy albums. Then by age like 13, 14, I'm already like collecting vinyls. I didn't even have equipment yet. I was just really obsessed with music, and that can really show at an early age. So I believe in talents, God-given gifts, and certain people are just born with a knack for certain things. Like Prince was playing God knows how many instruments in high school and had 100 records done and written and produced and all of that, and it is closing deals by the time he's a teenager, So talent does give people an advantage, a certain amount of favor. You could call it unfair. It kind of just is what it is, Some people are born with perfect pitch. A lot of us aren't. I'm not. So ultimately, you can say talent gives people an unfair advantage, but honestly, you've also heard people say hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, and that's also very true. Again, referring back to Prince, there's stories of him going to rehearsal, then doing his show, then doing a studio session right after at 3:00 in the morning. And it just keeps going and going and going 24/7 round the clock. That passionate, that driven. So talent still needs to work hard. I know a lot of talented people that are very entitled because they're talented and they feel like the world owes them something because they're talented. And that's the wrong perspective to have. This is still a business. You're still going to have to work hard at it. And that's the difference between talent and skill, in my opinion. What I call the skills to pay the bills, right? If you don't have the skills to pay the bills, you could be naturally talented, but you didn't put in the work and it's just not going to connect. Which then brings us to our second T, which is tenacity. What does that mean? Tenacity can be described as determination. It can be described as persistence. There's going to be a lot of letdowns. There's going to be a lot of disappointments. There's going to be a lot of broke days. There's going to be a lot of days where you're just waiting on feedback and you're waiting on contracts, and a lot of this stuff could give you crazy anxiety and be super discouraging. But those that really, really want it and don't picture themselves doing anything else are going to just fight through that and continue to fight through that until they see success, right? So that's what we mean by tenacity. So far we got talent, but again, talent has to work hard. And then we got tenacity, which is the drive. You're going to keep pushing until you make it happen. And then the third T is timing. So what do we mean by timing? Me as a believer, I believe in divine timing. You can work as hard as you want to work, but things need to connect. And sometimes the way things connect, there's really no explanation for it, to be honest with you. I also like the mindset that success is when preparation and opportunity meet. And that can sort of make the stars align, so to speak. But honestly, from my experience right now, I'm actually in the process of closing contracts for productions I made 5 years ago. And I thought they were amazing 5 years ago. So catalog is always important. Make sure you're just stacking that catalog. If you guys are making 5 beats a day, whatever it is that you're doing, don't think it's going to waste. When you're making this catalog, you're actually doing a few things. You're practicing, you're getting better, and you're stacking that catalog. You never know when the right person's going to hear that catalog, get their hands on that catalog, and that could be a big deal, So divine timing, right? Obviously, the harder you work, you can increase the probability of things happening, but sometimes things just happen and things just connect and we don't really have an explanation for it. And you just have to keep going, right? And that's what I call divine timing. So it's a combination of all these things, right? We're talking about talent, but talent still has to work hard, right? You still got to have the skills to pay the bills. You still got to put in the work to gain the experience. And there's talent and then there's skill, right? And then we have the tenacity, right? The drive, the ambition. You're not going to stop until it happens, the persistence, right? And then the timing. This is all assuming that you're doing great business. You're doing honest business, you know, you're building these relationships, not just meeting people, but you're connecting with people. You're nurturing these relationships. You're doing fair business. Fair business to me, I always equate to win-win. This is assuming that you're doing all of that. So you're putting in the work, you're grinding, you're making it happen. And then this increases the probability of you being in the right room at the right time with the right tracks. And then that's when all the stars align, when preparation and opportunity meet. And then you have success, right? Keep that in mind. These are the 3 T's. I found these to be really true over the years. In retrospect, everything's 2020, right? So I'm thinking back to all the successes in my career, all the stepping stones, how I got to where I am. And I'm still working towards where I want to be, right? But these T's remain very true even in this day and age. I know you can also make a track and pop off and go viral. Yeah, there's always exceptions to every rule. Of course, you can go viral, but that's like hitting the lottery, right? I'm not talking about exceptions to rules. That can happen, but again, that's divine timing too, right? Who can predict that? Who can predict going viral? Who can say, hey, I'm gonna go viral tomorrow? Sometimes things just happen that way, right? If you're putting in the work, putting out great music, putting out great content, things just happen that way. So there are exceptions to these rules too, but I found these 3 T's to be very, very true in my career. It really helps me to keep things in perspective. So I wanted to give you guys that perspective. Again, if you're talented, it doesn't mean that you're guaranteed success. It doesn't mean that you deserve a career. You still got to put in that work, right? And you still got to grind, and you got to have that tenacity to push through. And then preparation and opportunity meets, and you have success. And that's timing, right? Right place, right room, right time, right artist, right track. It just all connects. And that's a beautiful feeling. I love that. That's when deals close. That's when you have records out that hit the charts. That's when you have millions of streams. And we always love those moments. We're always kind of just working towards those moments constantly, even when you've already had those moments, you know. Success isn't just one move. It's a series of great moves, right? Over a span of time. And then when you obtain a certain amount of success, you also have to maintain that success and then keep building and keep pushing and keep growing over the years. And if you plan on being here for a long time like I do, you understand that longevity is not luck, right? People can get lucky once or twice, but to be here for decades upon decades and with continuous success, that's not luck, right? That's more of a mindset. That's more of a formula you got going. That's more of an understanding of the business, how to conduct business, how to treat people, how to network, how to meet people and nurture those relationships and find win-win situations for everybody involved, and having great studio etiquette and being a chill, easy person to work with. All of these things contribute to your success. And this video is just more about perspective and keeping these things in mind. I find that this day and age, entitlement runs rampant. People want instant gratification. People want it now, because we get things so quick nowadays. But if you love this and you want to be here for life, then it's a marathon, not a sprint, right? It's a journey. You're going to keep growing throughout your journey. You're going to keep getting better and better. A lot of us producers know this story. Quincy Jones made Thriller when he was 50 years old, which is the biggest album of all time. It's still an amazing story to me, because I think when I'm 50 years old, am I going to make my best work? Which is, it's pretty crazy to even think about. This is a craft that you love, that you're passionate about. So you want to keep pushing, getting better, diving deeper. You also want to be evolving. You could have a success at one point, then 5-10 years pass, the sound changes, you sort of have to reinvent yourself. That's also part of the process. Again, I just wanted to give you guys this perspective so you could keep these things in the back of your mind. The 3 T's. What do you guys think about them? Hopefully you guys learned something and enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell as well, and I'll see you guys next time. Costa Sound TV.